Welcome to River City Plus. It is the show after the show, and today we are going wheels off because we are finally feeling a little fall-like.
A little fall, yeah.
And so Jana's like, you know what? Let's do something a little different. She loves lists, so hit them with this one.
I do love a list. Well, I mean, I think that we've all seen them, especially like Reddit and stuff like that. They have, hey, here's the top 10, whatever. So I was kind of thinking, like, what are some interesting like things that come around fall? And once you start talking around your phone, eventually the robots will hear you and suggest something. So Thrillist put together a list of the weirdest fall traditions. So I figured we would go away from the like basic pumpkin spice extravaganza and talk about like some of the weird ways that people get into fall.
And I just did like a little short perusal, and I'm like, really? This is what I mean? So I'll let you start it, and then there's one that's kind of close to my heart.
Okay. So I'm going to kick it off with what I've definitely heard of things like this. I didn't know people still did them because, frankly, I think it's disgusting. So this is the Wisconsin State Cow Chip Throw and Festival. If you don't know what a cow chip is, let me just tell you, it comes out the back end, and it's not something you typically are picking up, much less chucking at someone for distance. So that's like the big thing. I mean, they obviously have music, they have food, hopefully nowhere near the cow chipping. But they have a competition to see who can take these dried cow chips and throw them the farthest.
Need lots of hand sanitizer for sure. Did you ever go cow tipping when you were growing up?
Absolutely not, because it's very bad for the cow. Someone told me that you could kill a cow because it could like rupture. I don't know if that's true, but just as a South Carolina girl, I never tipped a cow. I talked to many of friends out of tipping a cow because I was such an animal activist. I'm like, I will eat a hamburger, but this cow will not die by my hands.
It won't be because of me.
It will not be because of tipping.
Just a little sidebar question. So one that stuck out for me. So there's a festival in Marshall, Texas. That's actually where my dad is from. And it is called the Fire Ant Festival. And if you know anything about fire ants, I mean, I know they're big here, but Texas, you cannot go anywhere during the spring, summer without just what is that called? It's fire ants.
Oh, so they're like bad.
Oh, fire ants. If you get stuck, for instance, I actually sat in one when I was young, and yeah, it was not a good result getting bites like that. There's not enough calamine lotion in the world, let me tell you.
Oh, calamine lotion.
Oh, is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I lucked out. I never really got poison ivy or anything like that, but then fire ants got hold of me. But they host a festival every year celebrating fire ants, and so they got food, a 5K, and all that. And I'm just one of those where I'm going, really? I mean, I guess but they have like 30,000 people a year show up.
I know, when I read that, I was like, 30,000 people are showing up for the Fire Ant Festival. And like I think it was also funny, they have a diaper derby at this one. I was like, I have so many follow-up questions. I was like, what does a diaper have to do with the fire ant? Is like how many you can get out of it? I don't know. A chicken chucking contest. A fire ant calling contest. Now, have you ever been to a calling contest where you do like either
turkey,
like cattle or turkey or pig? I mean, it's something.
Oh, yeah. And people are heavily invested in that talent. And it's just like, okay.
Can I tell you, before we continue on the list, a wormhole I went down to for a very specific type of talent? Mm-hmm. It's table setting. There's a whole TikTok, like a show that is out on table setting, and it's like people who compete in table setting. Like you had a Pirates of the Caribbean thing, whatever. But I'm like,
oh. I'm just like, all I know, it's like you go silverware outside in, but no, this is
like tablescaping. But some people think that's weird. But yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that at one point on River City Plus, because
they've got a show for that.
Yes, I went down the hole. I'm like, now I'm invested. There's rivalries. I mean, it's wild. Anyways. Circling back around, the next one that I thought was interesting, because I think we've seen it in a couple movies get depicted on the different techniques, is the North American Wife Carrying Championship. Now, being the delicate, dainty flower that I am, I think this would be like my worst nightmare. Like if I had to depend on someone to haul my cookies across a muddy 278-yard obstacle course. and you can either go fireman style, which is over the shoulder, piggyback, or the Estonian carry. And this was in a
That's
movie.
where they carry them like around their waist, right?
Right, but you're flipped upside down.
Oh,
so
no,
your
I'm thinking
head's like, no, thank you. What are we winning? What is the prize?
It's like bragging rights, but it's
You're
like
flipped
one of those.
upside down.
This is a way you could really like, if you're feeling petty, like, oh, sorry, I dropped you, babe. You know that.
Yeah.
We're having a bad day. It's like I'm gonna get you now. But what was it? There was one. It was the follow the sheep. I gotta find Trailing the Sheep Festival in Idaho,
Yeah.
and basically it's just they're herding the sheep from one end to the other. They actually have something like that in Texas where they do it with like longhorn steer and all that. But it just makes me think of that Monty Python where bring out your dead, bring out, and they're just. But I'm just like I'm just gonna follow the sheep. And if you've ever seen like movies or sometimes you'll see videos, like if they don't want to go, they ain't going. Like they'll
No.
just be all up in the road and just like.
Yeah.
So, they just. I got time on my hands. Let's go to
Just
the.
go follow the sheep.
Let's go to the Follow the Sheep. Are you going to the Follow the Sheep Festival?
Here you're going, hey, no, listen, because I'm already going, I can't make it because I'm already going to the Pumpkin Chunkin.
Well, wait, where's that? That's in
So
that's
Pumpkin
in New
Chunkin
York.
is in New York,
So in Oregon, they've got the West Coast Giant Pumpkin Regatta.
which is amazing because these are people who are literally like rowing in pumpkins.
But I just think just the departure of like pumpkins on this coast, pumpkins on
Right.
that coast. And I mean, and you came out talking about pumpkin spice lattes and stuff, but they're like, we are all things pumpkin in this one.
Yeah.
What about the Woolly Worm Festival? Those worms used to creep me out growing
Oh,
up.
they still kind of creep me out. I'm not like opposed, but like, yeah, I'm like, all right, I think it's when there's too many of them. I don't mind if there's a couple, but you know, like when they really get rocking during the season and you're like, all right, they're just on everything. Like enough already. I think the one that was interesting is the Sea Witch
I
Festival.
was just on that one.
out of Roebuck, Delaware. I was like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, oh, not our witches hang out in caves. Ours are on the water. We got fancy witches. They got waterfront property. Delaware money.
You know?
Not our poor witches down here.
Here's one, man. You know, Colorado, they just do things different. So in Manitoba Springs, Colorado, the Emma Crawford Coffin Races and Festival. That's just one of those like I'm just gonna sit over here with my tea and watch all of this pop up. So this is it's into Halloween. That's the main theme. So Emma Crawford, she was sickly with tuberculosis and came to the town for their healing mineral water.
Okay, but unfortunately, the water didn't work. And she passed. She requested to be buried at the top of a mountain, but when the town flooded years later, the coffin became unearthed and slipped down the mountain into the town, and thus inspired the Emma Crawford coffin races. So everyone gets to the top of the mountain and slides down the hill in a coffin.
Yeah, man. Oh, I'm gonna pass on that. That's just not that.
I'm not getting in before I have to.
Yeah, and right.
Yeah.
Don't. But then, really quick, one more Tarantula Awareness Festival. Miss me with all of that. Miss me with all of that. But Pennsylvania has a Bacon Fest. I'm here for that.
We'll see you at Bacon Fest.
So those are just a list of some of the crazy festivals that are celebrating the coming fall season. So if you know of any, we'd love to hear what you have. Or maybe we could start one here and just make our own little fall. But it never really feels like fall around here.
I know. The Florida Fall Festival. We're going to 86 the coffins and tarantulas, lean into that bacon vibe. I could maybe do a pumpkin in there and no cow chips.
Bacon, pumpkin, something. We'll figure it out.
The bacon pumpkin something. Once these braces off, it's over for everybody.
So, gang, we're going to be back tomorrow for more River City Plus at 10:15 and our fun time at 9:30 where you can be with us live for River City Live. Be good.
Pumpkin chunkin'.